Hey guys, how the hell are you? Today we are doing an all-new unbiased gear review on the new Archetype Nolly plugin from Neural DSP. Okay guys, so let's just get right on into it. We are using my Framus television model, very trustworthy piece of gear right here, especially for the purposes of demoing various products. This guitar has Seymour Duncan Alnico 2 Pros to give me a nice warm low end but jangly crisp highs. This is the default tone that we are greeted to once we open up the Archetype Nolly plugin from Neural DSP. And let's really quick go over the various screens and all the different functions that we've got on here. So for those of you guys that are familiar with Neural DSP products, you will see this and be like, oh wow, this looks very familiar. So we've got input, gate, which is a very responsive gate, stereo and mono mode, high and normal oversampling. We've got the preset menu, delete, save, search. We've got arrow keys that go back and forth between the various different presets, which is pretty cool. Output, we've got 5 screens up here that we can cycle through. This is the screen we start off with, which is the kind of default high gain rhythm amp. Looks very much like a 5150, doesn't it? Real quick, before we get into the various screens, I just have to do this. I have to set this to the typical 666 knob setting that a lot of guys like to start off their 5150s with. Let's see what this sounds like. Pretty cool. Anyways, getting back to the various screens that we've got here. Very first screen, it shows the 4 different pedals that we have in front of the amp. Compressor, 2 different overdrives that are very, very, very different from each other. This one is a crisper, low gain tube screamer style overdrive, very transparent, very clean. Actually, it might be a little bit more closer to a Klon, to be honest with you. Whereas this is probably a little bit more like an extreme version of a tube screamer. It's a little bit higher gain. You can tweak the treble and the bass. It's not just the tone control. We've also got a delay in front, which is cool for making little slapback effects. This screen right here gives you a 9-band equalizer, which of course can be bypassed on and off. We have the cabinet and mic emulation right here. What's also cool about that is you can load your own custom IRs into this too. So if you've got an IR that you think is really, really awesome, hey, no problem, put it into this thing. Moving on, we've got a couple pedals that are at the very end. We've got a reverb, a very nice reverb, might I add, too. It's nice and cavernous and spacey, but at the same time, it's not like super overpowering. Where you want to get that sort of overpowering from, though, is this delay unit, which has a lot of tweakability and functionality. It's crazy all the stuff you get into with this thing. But anyways, let's get right back to the amp screen. So this is the amp that we start off with, the sort of high gain rhythm tone right here. Very much modeled after a 5150. It definitely sounds like it for sure. We then take a look. Let's just start right at the beginning. So this is the clean channel. Nice and clean and crisp, lots of tweakability here. When you crank the gain up, it does give you a nice little breakup. Very cool. Moving on, the second amp right here. Now we're into crunch territory, but this is really, really cool because a lot of gain on tap for a crunch channel. You go here and you kick on an overdrive to kind of boost it. Let's pump that up just a little bit. And you can get some nice high gain tones from that too. You've seen this one already, and then at the end we do have an even higher gain amp. This one definitely looks like it's modeled after maybe like a PRS MT15, or probably more accurately because it's Nolly, some high gain boutique-y lunchbox head that he's got. But this is a super saturated high gain head. So yeah, super high gain tone on tap with that. One other thing that's really, really cool about the actual amp settings here is that if you click this little button, you can de-link the cabinet from the head. So if you want to experiment and check out various different tones by pairing different cabinets with different heads, you can do that. Let me switch to the cabinet screen here so you can see more what I'm talking about. This has the super high gain cab mixed with our friend here, the 5150-ish head. So even more tweakability with that. Fun to play around with, that's for damn sure. Moving on to a clean setting, now I get to show you these pedals that we've got here in front. This is the clean tone that we've got going on right here with the clean amp. These are the settings that we're working with. Kick on the compressor. Definitely gives a lot of compression on tap actually. I like that. I'm changing up my pick attack and it's kind of keeping it nice and steady with that compression lifted like that. Moving on to this is the low gain overdrive. Like I said, kind of in like Klon territory, low gain tube screamer sort of style. Kind of very, very transparent. Moving on to this delay. A lot of playing around you can do with that. And then finally, my favorite of the two overdrives. This is with all the gain cranked down. And remember, we are on the low gain, the extremely clean amp here, and this is what that does to that tone. Very, very nice, very responsive. The EQ that we've got here kind of changes with every amp that we set it to, but the actual controls themselves and the parameters of each doesn't really change. Let's just set it to our favorite, the 5150. As you can see, it's got a lot of tweakability and it's very responsive. Cabinet emulation. Lots of cool things you can do here. That, like I said, you can load your own custom IRs, but you can also change up the mic. You can either change the controls right here, which changes where the mic is positioned, or you can just grab the mic and move it around a little bit. As you can see, we've got a second mic here. You can even just delete that. You can change the phase on it too if you're getting some sort of issues. You can adjust the levels independently from what the other mic is at. Still change that around too. Just play with it, figure out where you want that set at. Changing the different cabinets, it still leaves the mics where you place them so you can cycle back and forth. And then finally, at the very tail end, we've got these really, really awesome delay and reverb pedals. Kicking that on. Got a tap tempo here. Some cool modulation on tap there too. Let's just crank that. Very nice. You've got a lot to play with that. Finally, moving on to the presets. This is something that I love playing around with because it comes with several different presets. I've made a few myself. We'll get to those. But comes with factory presets from Neural DSP. Some of these are really, really awesome. This is probably one of my favorite factory presets that they have. Juicy Chug, just nice and heavy. As you can see, the gain is pretty low on this. There's a lot on tap. They managed to dial it back and still make it nice and super heavy. Let's see what they've got. They've got the heaviest of the overdrives going on up here. A little bit of tweakage going on with the EQ. We've got a 414 condenser and the mic that's modeled after a 57 set way the hell out there. Nice. I love this setting. Tone is in your fingers. So here we've got the super high gain head. They've given it the crunch cabinet. They've really, really dialed back a ton on the gain. There's nothing going on in front. That's just kind of a nice woolly tone right there. I dig that. Nolly, of course, has a lot of presets on here. Funky Dry Clean is pretty cool. Very, very low volume on that. You might have to kind of mess with that to compensate. Let's see, a few others that he's got. Articulate Lead, I love this one. This is probably my favorite of the presets that are on here for actually doing leads, so much so that I don't even mess with it. If I'm going to use this plugin to record a lead, I just grab this one. I don't even change anything to it. Sounds that good. Metal Rhythm, of course we gotta check that out. Might have to play with the levels on that one, but tone sounds really good. Let's see. Radio Effect. What I want to show you about this one, I think this one was super cool because even though it's like super tweaked as far as what frequencies were taken out, as you can see, there's a lot that got deleted from there, and it gives it this sort of super lo-fi tone. What's awesome about going through the presets is that this was super inspiring to me. I decided to fuck with this a little bit, change things around, and then rename it as True Cult, give it sort of a more black metal tone to it. That was my horrible version of Satyricon Mother North. But man, this thing just has a lot of tweakability, a lot of functionality. But yeah, so there you go, the new Archetype Nolly plugin from Neural DSP. So my final thought on this software is that Neural DSP is kind of batting 1,000 right now. Every single thing that they are coming up with, whether it be this, the Pliny archetype, the Parallax, and especially that Fortin Nameless suite that was kind of a lot of people's first initial introduction to this company, I'm just repeatedly blown away by this brand and what they are putting forth out there. This amp sim is no exception. So many different tones on tap, so many ways to shape that tone to suit your own needs. I mean, this company is getting pretty damn close to amp sim perfection right here. I mean, this is probably the best I've ever heard a 5150 sound in an amp sim. And that's saying something. I played a lot of amp sims. This is the first time that I've been like, oh my god, this is fucking incredible. It's mix ready. It sounds like something that I can like legitimately use and thoroughly enjoy from start to finish, this particular 5150 kind of bass tone that's in here. Don't get me wrong, all the other amps on this are awesome, but I keep going back to that one with several different guitars in my collection, and they're all sounding incredible through it. It's fantastic. But this thing is extremely versatile. I mean, the song that I did at the beginning of the video, I literally used this plugin for everything but the drums. So not only the two rhythm guitar parts and the sort of filler guitar parts, I even included it for the lead, just that kind of basic lead setting that was factory installed with the plugin was honestly perfect for what I was doing. And then for the bass, I just flipped it onto a really killer crunch preset that they had, and that sort of nailed that sort of crunchy, clean, perfect bass tone that was very, very well suited to that song. I mean, I'm enamored. I can't say enough good things about this company. I can't say enough good things about this product. So Arnold, what are you drinking today? I'm so glad you asked. Let's go to the beer fridge. Today, from Gigantic Brewing, we are having the Hellboy Liz Sherman Chocolate Mole Stout. Yeah, Chocolate Mole Stout. It is a stout that sits at 6.66% alcohol by volume. Haha, hilarious. This is part of Gigantic's Hellboy collection. Hopefully it's much better than that last dog shit movie that just came out. Supposedly this is a chocolate stout that also has several different types of chili peppers that were infused during the brewing process. So let's check this out. Kind of a dark, oily, chocolatey brown there with a tan head. Kind of a rocky head too, which is pretty nice. Oh wow, I'm getting a lot of chili pepper in the aroma. Oh, and a lot in the flavor. Wow. So this is definitely something that I really, really enjoy lately, is all the beers that I've been finding that are stouts that have peppers in them and sort of like chili spices and other sorts of like just kind of spiciness and a little bit of heat that's in there. It's something that really complements the natural flavor of the stout, if you ask me. But there's definitely a more intense spiciness than I'm used to finding in my beer, and it really, really hits the throat especially when you swallow it. Like, it sort of pinches you up here, but once you swallow it, man, it really affects you. There's definitely a little bit of chocolate in there too, some cocoa nibs, but not something that's super bitter. Man, without the chili, this would be something that is an extremely smooth stout. With the chili, It's definitely a little overpowering, I'm not going to lie, but it's still very, very enjoyable. I actually really, really like this. The Hellboy Liz Sherman Stout, Chocolate Mole Stout from Gigantic Brewing. So that's it for me. That's all I've got. Leave your comment in the comment section below. Like this video. Subscribe to this channel. There's lots more content to come. Find me all over the place. Instagram, Facebook page, my Twitch account, which I'm using to mostly play a ton of video games on. But I'm kind of all over the place. Hit me up.